For G2 Esports, it's an opportunity to lift a trophy one step closer. But for Fnatic, it's an opportunity to reclaim glory. Both squads know that there's so much on the line here. Both teams manufactured and created to win championships. But unfortunately, Mimi, one squad has to go home today.
Every #1 seed in this tournament lost in the first round of playoffs. They have been on a trajectory straight at each other through this lower bracket, but now only one gets to continue. We have the OMEN map select up here, and these teams, they have a lot of crossover in their map pool, Bea.
Yeah, I'm very surprised because G2, as you can see, they banned Ascent, but throughout this entire tournament, the 3 times that they played, they banned the Sunset, but they identified that it's not a map that Fnatic has ever been comfortable in, and we have seen it throughout this tournament, how they've been struggling. So they have decided to go against something that you do not want to see from Fnatic, and it's probably Alpha on Chamber.
Absolutely. Fnatic looks terrifying on that map. It's a very good choice from them, I think, in the bans. But despite being able to have that target ban, these are all maps where Fnatic is very comfortable. Yeah. Maybe they looked a little shaky on their Haven earlier in this tournament, but you look at their year as a whole, and these are 3 very strong maps for them. And there are also 3 maps where, unlike G2, they haven't had to change up a whole ton. They've been playing these same comps for so long.
Yeah, I really hope that we get to that last map, to that Haven, because both HyperX and Wolves ban it, so this could be the last Haven in the tournament. In fact, it's either that or we do not see it again. But as you were saying, Mimi, I agree. The first 2 maps, they've been good for Fnatic. In fact, this resembles of EMEA, Fnatic banning Pearl and pick and split. We've seen it 3,000 times. But that first map, that Lotus, I think that we have also seen showing from both of the teams. This is one of the maps where G2 has grown the most, going back to that Tejo. And I think we understood from the way the Fnatic was playing the other day that they are literally back in the same composition, playing the same way. We saw that Odin control on A, the same things that we've been seeing for such a long time.
You could watch a Fnatic VOD from 3 years ago,
and it would be the same sound.
Yeah, which Fnatic it is, because they've always just been
But that's
so
crazy, though, that you can do that, but they're still so damn good, even when you know what they're going to do.
A lot of teams chase
They should not do the same today.
The absolute peak in the current meta, right? I think G2 is a great example with how much they optimize the Teo meta. Fnatic, once they have a comp they know is good, it is all about just perfecting that down to every detail. And their Lotus is the ultimate example of doing so. The fact that they still win, that they're still strong after all this time playing the same composition.
It's a split crowd here in Toronto. There's G2 fans coming out in full force. Fnatic fans letting their voices heard. Look at them. They got the onesies out. You love to see that. That's cool. Get me one of those.
Oh, we have some in EMEA. They're pretty cool.
I want to wear one of those.
I'd say.
I mean, I'll tell you what. I'll sweat my butt off in there. Okay. All right. I had to question a lot of things there for a brief moment. But all right. In any case, though, as we get ready for this one, Mimi, you can tell, man, the crowd, the energy is electric in this room.
Yeah. Fnatic, they have become crowd favorites. You see Boaster playing up to them. I think he's trying to do his jinx on them that you've seen in some of the little videos. Always trying to do something fun, make the pressure fade away for his teammates. Here's your agent select. We shouldn't expect any surprises. G2 locking that fade suggests that this is the same comp they pivoted into after they lost with that Neon. It's the comp they've been playing all of Stage 1 back home in Los Angeles, but with that fade subbed in for the breach.
I'm really looking forward to the changes that Fnatic have to make to this defense. Again, controlling from tree with the Odin, very old stuff, but especially with this Tejo, I think that G2 is going to be one of the first things that they target. As I said, Kayak on the operator. If they start snowballing rounds, this could get too easy for Fnatic. But right now, they should be like, hold on. They picked Lotus. Are we this obvious? Because we've been having such good results in the map.
Yeah, could it be a trap, right? That one has to wonder. But at this point, right, both teams are going to go out there, play their game, and hey, you just got to see where the coin lands, right? That's all it is.
You absolutely do. You have to look at the battle between these leaders. Both Valen and Boaster as well have been so good strategically, so good at building up their teammates, bringing that energy to succeed on stage. But there's still such a gap in experience. When Boaster was winning trophies, Valen was bringing this team out of Tier 2, dragging them through Ascension to make it into the Americas League.
But now here they are, an opportunity for them to be able to march forward, send an EMEA team home, but alternatively, Fnatic can end America's hopes here and now.
Listen, we can have the best of both worlds. How about Fnatic wins? And since we have crashies, you're still making it onto the lower final.
I can't concede that, but I don't know. I'm a bit of a G2 stan, so you never know. You never know.
I wonder what they think, GB.
You know what? Great call there. How about this? Toronto, who you think's going to win? Let me know right now. We got a little bit of all over the place. All right, is it Fnatic? Is Fnatic going to win? What about G2? Oh, that is a reaction for G2 Esports as they get ready for this matchup. Players setting up on that stage, and now it is time. Toronto, let's make some noise as we get ready for this lower bracket matchup. Here are your casters, Brent and Sideshow.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, excited to get back into this one here. We have two Titan teams, Josh, that are facing up on the stage in Toronto, both looking to carve out their own spot in the history books for VCT itself. Two teams that ended up in the lower bracket right at the beginning of our playoffs, and both of them trying to pull off the improbable, the impossible, but not for them. These are two teams with the most confidence to know that they can do it.
And two teams that you've seen make historic comebacks within maps. You only have to look to recent history for G2. You're thinking about comebacks on Icebox. Well, the team on the other side has pulled off legendary stuff themselves. This is NA versus EU. EMEA, they haven't won a trophy since Fnatic themselves won those back-to-back tournaments in 2023. And that's what the region is hunting for. These are two teams with similar styles as well. The lower bracket with players such as Chronicle looking to continue being the winningest player of all time. Jorgamo looking to join the list, a tiny list of players who've won Champs and Masters. Only Sassy there. There's so much rich history, but only one of these two teams is going to be able to make it through to battle Wolves in the lower bracket final.
Oh, we're going to be getting into it shortly here for our opening pistol round between these two juggernaut teams. Toronto, make some noise. Let's get loud.
And what a bold pick this is for G2 to be going into Lotus, which I would consider to be essentially home ground territory for Fnatic. It's home ground though for both squads. And G2 taking rebel control as Fnatic get ready for a trap play at front B. Slow is going to be the name of the game for both of these squads on their attack sides, feeling out what the defense has got going. Because they're both pretty happy to play retake trap styles, and Boaster is in fact the opening kill.
Blood's going to be drawn out as G2 bodies are dropping. Not relenting though, G2 looking eager to try and take site control, but they've got a crossfire center to try and contend with.
How did he get two?
How the hell are you doing that? Jonah P, drive by, swings by. And just like that, in a blink of an eye, it's Fnatic now that are on the back foot.
What a plant as well. They're planting so that they can take heaven control. They know that at least one of these players is on the flank.
Alpha is going to try and deliver shoulder to shoulder. Him and the IGL. Boaster himself, what a shot to connect. Not anticipating it. Boaster delivering an Alpha from the side.
Boaster's on his feet already, round one. You'll be seeing a lot more of that. G2 almost there, turning around a 3v5 situation, but they just couldn't quite get it done. 6 shots towards the end, a bit of a freebie there as well. That's a rough one for Jorgamo. But these shots towards the end, Alpha hitting a beauty onto Jonah P, untradeable, and then cleans things up towards the end as well. He's cooking.
He's ever the show, man.
I think having the fans so close at this event has just spurred him on to greater and greater showmanship heights.
Absolutely.
He does love it. He's talked in interviews as well, Boaster, about trying to just get the best possible results before he thinks about retirement, which is mad, but he has been in the scene for such a long time, and his teams have been astoundingly successful. He's talked in this tournament actually about becoming the greatest leader of all time. I think if you made the list right now, it would have to be Boaster at the top. Yeah. But he'd like another tournament here, just to properly seal the deal.
Set it in stone. And we're expecting a slow and methodical game from both of these teams. Going to be taking their time with it.
Might feel like a bit of a whiplash after you've come off HyperX versus Wolves.
It definitely will.
But both of these teams, they do have similar styles. Fnatic, G2, they're going to be playing to allow their opponents to plant quite a lot. and make them bleed as they get into the sights.
Head not popped over towards the ledge as Chronicle holding close. Catches the contact over the re-swing. He's going to be traded, but Alpha towards the back. The ghost in hand, and he's going to be buying time for the rest of the team to start to get in and get active. Kayak tearing them apart. Leafs is going to try and do whatever damage he possibly can from this spot. Has the spike in his back pocket, but no time really to work with. And Fnatic, ever the disciplined team, happy to wait it out.
Kayak could go down in one shot here. Leafs seeing if he can bait somebody out. Ends up falling to the Outlaw of Crash. He's posted up towards spawn. So fairly clean at the end of the day. Fnatic managing to keep 3 decent bits of weaponry heading into their bonus round. And I think a lot of it's about figuring out what these setups look like. You can see little bait and switch setups. On the pistol round, we saw that B trap play, where if a lurker starts walking towards B, they get hit with the paranoia and pounced upon. G2 are just going to be trying to feel this out. Figure out what kind of game Fnatic are playing. Where does Boaster want to give a little bit of space? Where does Boaster want to tell his team to fight? And this round, potential for a bit of a collapse onto Leaf if he does take that aggressive lurk timing.
Chilling for now, though. Pressure from G2 up towards B. Door's going to be opened up. That should be a bit of fear into the back of your minds. Jorgenman has a bullet to the back of the brain. Alpha, swift dismissal. Leaf needs to be careful. He's getting tagged up. Bullet tagged. Still alive, though, and now reinforcements arriving. G2 looking to clear this all the way out entirely. Crashy's has been dropped. Jonah P, even a watchful eye. Exploration of Fnatic is getting punished here.
Yeah, that's a bit of a weird push, actually, from Kayak. I think both players that died towards B there, Kayak and Jorgenmo, probably could have played that situation better. But G2 end up slowing down the pace, hitting the brakes in a 4v3. And this allows Valin to just test out the map again. Trent still has both of these salvos to work with, too. So they could play a really powerful post plan. They are set up, though, to split into B, and that's exactly where Boaster's waiting with the Stinger. They don't realize A is empty.
Boaster, close quarters here with a Stinger in hand. He's got the util out. Unfortunate with the timing.
30 seconds.
Now they're going to run all over these players here. Fnatic.
It's a nice
in the hands of Chronicle. It's not exactly set up for success.
It's a nice use there from Trent of just a solo salvo into that B connector, the waterfall, in order to push back the players. And he's still got a salvo to play afterwards. G2 want to keep this clean.
Toxins going up.
All signs pointing towards it. Alpha is tepid, just tiptoeing in. Chronicle will be able to trade, but it's answered back in kind. So a round on the board now for G2.
Couple of players getting fairly close to some ultimates. Jonah P and Trent winding their way up to double initiator ults. It won't probably be online here, or if they are, it'll be in the post plant. But we've got a pretty important eco swing round coming up in round 4. Fnatic are going to go for an Odin purchase as well. Crashy's picking that one up to play it from tree. Aiming to do chip damage early on to these G2 players contesting rubble.
It's going to be a hail of bullets and lead. Sways him for a moment. Leaf is still propped up onto rubble.
I like it, though. All of these sound cues are making it feel like Fnatic need to defend rubble, and instead, G2 are creeping up towards B. And Kayak, he's got to defend.
Salvos pop open towards the door there. You blinds it as a bat. Still G2. Oh, my! You can't stand up to it. Chronicle obliterates 3.
Perfect timing, even though Fnatic weren't 100% sure how that B exec was coming through. Does Crashes get caught just jiggling the corner? If he did, it would open up the A site and make a 2v4 possible.
Missed the timing on it. Backs away anyway.
It's going to be very difficult for Valin and Leaf to dig themselves out of this spot. Fnatic are giving them room, though, giving them respect, allowing them even to get a plant off, assuming that they'll be able to win the retake with bodies and with the paranoia, with the C's, with the horn, tools that they still have to be able to work with.
Should be a clean retake indeed. Discipline still there from Fnatic. Wing it out. Jump spot of Crashies has missed the potential timing here. Just swinging wide. Trying to take that fight towards it, but smoke into your face, Valin. Has to really just try and get a move on. Now he's onto the side. It's an off-angle play from him, but still player advantage. And the paranoia is beautiful. Splits them up with just the right amount of time, but no way! Valin!
Christ! What a play there! But what a fumble! Too cautious from Fnatic, I think. Talked about the fact that they love playing to give their opponents respect and play the advantage in the retake. But the paranoia pushed Valinoff onto an off angle and they just weren't there ready for the trade. It was only Chronicle that swung through off Alpha's contact and he only had about 6 health to work with. Fnatic lose a really important eco swing round here. And now the ult cycle is going to start to get online for G2. Assuming they can clean up an anti-eco, Fnatic might have just lost control of this defense half early on.
Meant to the swinging. Just off the back of the heroics of the captain of G2. Two of our greatest minds in the game facing off against each other.
Feels like a battle of the generations when it comes to the IGLs as well. Valen, bit of a new kid on the block compared to the experience of Boaster, but he's been fantastic, and Boaster caught out in the open again. That's twice already in the very first quarter of this map.
It's not full steam ahead from G2. There's still a level of caution. Fnatic are stacking this with a multitude of bodies. It is the eco round.
Yeah, I think the read here from Valen is perfect.
Be careful here with a Marshall in the hands of Alpha. That's snappy. Quick scope straight to the head. He is taken care of, though. Chronicle still trying to at least square up, take a fight, posturing ever so slightly. He's taking it with the off-angle play. Crashies is highlighted, lit up. There's no more. So G2 taking the lead early on here in Lotus.
That damage from Alpha, yeah, with the Marshall. It looks like Fnatic are going to need some more moments like that. What Alpha's been able to do recently in their games has been spectacular. And those are the danger moments that you need to be able to add in there. But otherwise, G2 dealt with that really quite cleanly, even though they went into the stack in the end. And here's the ults that we were talking about. But Fnatic, by saving, have managed to get Kayak an operator in his hands. Looking to try to get him posted up over towards A. That's where the Odin is as well. And only Alpha defending here on C. Pushed off immediately.
Salvo's meant to push off the early line. Doors opened up. Hello, Lee. Might get an early fight sooner than he potentially anticipates. He's going to play his life, try and back the hell out of there. Trent over the shoulder, that bait and switch.
Crashies, I think, made the call to fight with Boaster and didn't realize that Leaf also had backup. In came Trent. And down went the IGL again of Fnatic, who's having a rough go of things here. They still have the lockdown to try to play retake in one of these areas, and Chronicle could actually pit off some level of contact, but it's difficult to get value out of the pit here in the mid-round when Jorgamo still has his dimensional drift to clear everything. But here it goes.
Yeah, using it nice and early. Just trying to spot out the most of these players. Don't know if he spotted it off. Yes, Kayak. Time to strike. Choose it well. Chronicle. It's instinctual. The wall was up, just anticipating G2's positioning. It's G2 who are left with that player disadvantage.
And massive ultimates dropped on the side of G2. They can no longer set up a pit of their own in the post plan. So if G2 want to win this round, it's got to be proactive. I think Fnatic, they know it. Crashies and Kayak are waiting for this push.
Palace sees it. Jogmo's going to be backing away. Reclaiming the space now. There's an I4. Trying to lay claim to a lot of this towards it, but there's that up angle. A whiff from Kayak with how he's been playing. Okay, damage kicking in. Going to TP. Valen's barely out of there. Trying to play the crossfire setup. Chronicle wins this fight out, and that's going to be the lockdown to secure. Fnatic have all the advantages here. Everything in the world going their way.
And an investment of the ultimate just to make sure, just to absolutely guarantee that Fnatic are able to tie things up. It's a big recovery in this round from Fnatic. If they'd lost here in the 4v5, would have been a disaster. But Kayak gets good value out of his op, and honestly, the way that G2 were utilizing the Yoru ult, Fnatic read the timings, and they just knew that people were going to start pushing up off the back of it. Chronicle has got great reads on that kind of stuff. He's been around the block. One of our most experienced and one of the greatest players of all time. You look at accomplishments.
The accolades, man.
He's already got 3 trophies. If Fnatic can somehow pull off this lower bracket run, he will just be out miles ahead of everybody else with 4.
Making a serious case for one of the greatest of all time. G2 feeling pressured into the timeout here.
And I think there's been a pretty serious shift in Fnatic's defense now that they've got the operator online. They are still finding holes over towards A early on, but what G2 are struggling with is being able to take the site without getting caught by one of the Fnatic players who's just trying to get one and back up. It's not like Fnatic are trying to defend the sites to the death, but they're just trying to grab one G2 player and then back it up and always force G2 to be the ones that have to overextend and overfight to get the space and get the plant. Take a look and see what the adjustments are coming out of this TAC timeout. Kayak earned his showstopper in the previous, so he can take more aggressive positions with the op, because if you get caught, pull out the ult, and you can often stop yourself from getting punished. So he's actually going to go maybe for a solo peek over towards B, which is
looks like it.
Properly aggressive. Oh no, backs it up early on. Just listening for audio cues.
A lot of presence though from G2. Prowler and a flash through the front of B, and that's triggered at least the ult, and it's a bait and switch setup. Jogamo at the gate crash, could exit.
That's beautiful. Ult baited out immediately. Perfect value there coming from the Yoru. And now Valen's got an opportunity to reset the troops and figure out in which direction G2 would like to end. Another single salvo to try to push Alpha away. They know that Alpha loves to play this angle. We've seen people even pick up attack side ops to try to punish that.
Alpha feeling the heat, and he might be tested soon, but instead G2 go in a different direction. Doors opened up. B is called for. There's lots of ults to try and help supplement this one here. We'll see how to get use of the util. Sees is excellent. Crashies. He's locked G2 down.
Jog teleported into it.
TP'd past. Boaster is here, laying in wait with the Odin up through the high ground. Attempt there made. Chronicle just the one before the trade is in sight. Now with that pit, he's going to be laying down towards it. Armageddon on top of it. Clearing out a lot of the extremities. G2 trying to hold on.
Alpha on the flank could be pivotal here. Trent, he knows that he's going to try to take the timing, calls for backup, and now realizes Alpha hasn't committed.
P just gone down there. I'm not sure if these are just stray shots coming through. Alpha.
Perfect trade.
Gets the one traded instantly. Now the drone and a connection spots him out, highlighting across the board. Leaf is going to back away, trying to play his life. Sliders of corner, snaps towards it. Leaf! Ridiculous!
Perfect reads inside the pit there for a player who's well within the race for tournament MVP. Look at how tight the timing is on that one. Jorg just escaping with absolutely no damage done. Crazy kill on Jonah P there too. But what I like from G2 is that they were hyper aware of the threat of Alpha here on the flank. Alpha is going to be playing C aggressively, and when he opens that door, Trent and Valen doubled up to deal with him. You've got to put two guys on Alpha at all times, and even then, Finesse will tell you it doesn't always work.
Yeah. Alpha perfectly capable of taking over. We've seen it, especially in their prior game. Risky setup here, but necessary. It's a half-buy round for them. That is sharp. Over towards the mound, though. This is about to be a bloodbath that's occurring, and it's all going away. Surely a Fnatic, it's evened out into a 2v2.
Leaf, though, he caught the perfect kill on Boaster on the other side of things, and now it's all on Kayak with only a Bucky. I mean, he's just begging Valen to walk into him. If he doesn't, how is he going to take the kill?
Scurry of the footsteps. Valen is hyper aware.
And at that kind of range, Kayak, unfortunately, as good as he is, doesn't particularly have a chance. We were talking about how dangerous Alpha can be, and that setup over towards Mound almost found Fnatic a turn of the fates. The shots were good, but the weaponry, I don't think was quite up to scratch. And once again, actually, this kill, where Leaf is able to pick up Boaster, and Boaster's kind of, you know, inside his smoke again, getting caught.
Boaster's throwing a smoke in the middle.
Yeah, and I think that is actually a bit of a recurring problem that we're seeing here, is that Boaster's frequently getting caught out. He's 2-6 right now, but it's not necessarily about the scoreboard. He could be playing, you know, those kind of numbers and be playing a great game, frankly. But at the moment, he's trying to hold important positions on defense and getting caught out by unexpected timings. And I think that's going to have to tighten up if Fnatic want a chance of being able to win the rest of these rounds on their defense half at least.
A timeout taken for Fnatic to recoup. See if they can dig deep. So A 2-round lead so far for G2.
It's well within the realms of being able to recover, but when you say it's a 2-round lead, Fnatic also won the pistol here.
Yeah.
So, you know, out of the other 6 rounds that we've seen, when rifles have started getting on board, G2 have been very consistent. And this time, no operator in the hands of Fnatic. They don't have the wealth to be able to put that into Kayak's hands. And once more set up to go for some kind of B split attempt. The spike headed up here and a potential for a wrap through Blue Room.
Potential for a brawl. This is Fnatic stacking 3 bodies. Trying to retake some of that rubble control away from where Leaf has just been lurking.
Leaf, he kind of needs to kill that Prowler to create the threat that he could still lurk.
And it's a pop in play. They want to try and get a move on here. This is G2 trying to see if they can lay claim to that B site. Still rain down a hail of bullets. That's just from Boaster. He's going to be supplementing the fire, just trying to make it nice and awkward for G2 while a flank occurs.
Do they have enough people to be able to deal with Chronicle? There is massive pressure on Leaf right now.
Tested. Only just the one. This is Fnatic now. This is their time to shine. They've got a lot of control now towards B main. Flip at the site though. G2 looking to try and take this one up through heaven and a reflank of Valen, but time needs to be played. It's already ticking away, and it's up to Trent to see if he can delay, but smoke in your face, what really can you do from this spot? Timing is taken into a 2v2. They're going to know what these players are to smoke. Obfuscate, hides the intent. Kayak, he's there swinging through. Seals it up nice and pretty for Fnatic.
Bit of a strange situation there towards the end. A couple of the G2 players left in the clutch, and it almost looked like they didn't know where the plant was. A B pop. Alpha swings through, but it's this flank play that made the difference. In previous rounds, Leaf has been escorted into rubble at the start of this round. He got pushed out immediately. He got caught by a Horn, Prowler, and that gave Fnatic the confidence to be able to double push fully out through A and get the rat play working. The more they can get the read on that, the more they can actually figure out exactly where Leaf is on the map, the better their defense half is going to look. And they've knocked G2 down onto a light buy, but this squad is diabolical with the Stingers.
They certainly are. Alpha.
He's so far up.
Well, really far up. There's going to be a Paranoid blinds it up, and there's already players on your tail, just trying to hunt you down, Jorgamo. It's close quarters. It is carnage of what's occurring. Alpha decayed. Caught up into the corner from the seas, and Valen was very quick, able to take up most of that space. The pit has to be vacated. It's a wasted off from Chronicle.
Snakebite easily could have claimed a couple of lives there, though everybody on G2 was weak, but that was chaos. Alpha, with the wrong read of what was happening, they thought it was going to be an A-side default again, and G2 have found an opportunity to pick up a couple of weapons and slow things down a little. It's looking more even now.
Lurk smoke from G2. Praying that Fnatic would go for some form of re-exploration, clearing up the map.
And I think this is a really important situation where you've got to look at Boaster again. He's going to be doing this jump spot. He's been caught out in positions like this, throwing smokes a couple of times. He's got to make sure that he maintains this information.
30 seconds left.
He's gone forwards. Trust the advantage. He's got to read, and it is a good one. A solo player, Trent just trying to condition with that drone. There's the punish, Kayak towards the back. Alongside Chronicles, a stalwart defense. The lock and key here. There's only one left to stand against it, Jonah P. It's messy, it's scrappy, but Fnatic are up even.
And I think it deserved pop-off there from Boaster, because it's something that he struggled with a little bit so far in this defense half, but he played that situation beautifully, didn't he? Had the read that it was going to be a fake, stepped forwards rather than backwards, managed to get the timing on the drone, and catches Trent as well. So not only does he get the kill, he feeds full info to the rest of his team. Guys, this is going to be a C re-hit. 100% this A pressure is fake. And this is now an even half, 5-5. With arguably better ultimates here for Fnatic to close out on defense.
Door's going to be opened up. This is G2. Attempting a bit of that slow siege.
That is so much damage onto Jorgamo there as well.
Down to 61.
I think he would have been aiming to pick up an orb in this round, see if he could get the ultimate online. 4 players from Fnatic over here doing a re-clear, full re-clear of rubble.
A lot of utility. You see that Paranoid, you see the Haunt.
Could be the timing to try to activate somebody like Leaf on the other side of the map, but Alpha's waiting, and his...
Just as the turret gets broken, Kayak is looking for more. He's stunned up and misses it. Trent Just cleans him up.
That's amazing from Jorg and Trent.
All on both now, though. Feeling the heat. It's a paranoia in your face, near-sighted. Plenty of bodies about to be coming towards you. Nightfall avoided. Chronicle. Again, the spam over the shoulder. Curtain raised up. Wall of his own, just trying to stunt it. G2, though, not to be dismayed. Trying to get a bit of a move on. Trying to claim that A site. Moving forwards, that game of time. It's Chronicle. It's the better of the adversary.
He's been really good so far, Chronicle. A pillar for his team to rely on. And G2, they feel like they have to be the ones making the play. Health disadvantage is so huge, but look at the wrap. Look at Alpha, yeah, already aware of the possibility.
Yeah, this lockdown, drop down should be sealing all of this one up, except Alpha oversteps himself, and the lockdown's going to be broke down regardless. Chronicle layers down that snake bite, and now there's a timing to be taken. Fnatic getting a run on, getting a scurry on. It's being stuck to half, heads are popped. Chronicle dismissed entirely.
Another round for Valen where he comes through in the clutch, and my God, what a call as well. Dismantling Kayak's ult. Oh, it landed on the pillar too. Tragic the way that that splash worked, but it's the final call. This double wrap up through heaven and around behind onto Alpha. Alpha decides to swing aggro on a timing, thinking that it'll catch them off guard, and maybe doesn't account for the fact that they're both going for the flank. And the fact it was planted for heaven as well. It's a really nice way to play that situation.
One last chance in his half, though, for Fnatic to try and draw it level. Giorgamo sending it flying forwards here with a dimensional drift. I make this feel like a lot of A pressure, and there are bodies behind it. G2 are looking to at least take this space. Doors are open wide. Paranoia already expended. Most is going to be using it. This is Anarchy. Crashes to leave from behind. What a good work put in, though, and now it's up to Boaster to do the rest. Odin in hand, obliterating G2.
Incredibly aggressive swing there from Giorgamo.
Moving forwards, no committal. Boaster just looking for that information, and the timing potentially is here for Trent.
Alpha, yeah, worried that he's getting flanked from B main, even though the turret is actually watching it. So I think Alpha probably could have just stayed over here. But Chronicle is tightening the net at all times.
Toxins going up.
Putting a squeeze on him now. Already revealed to the side there. Chronicle, easy cleanup. 6-2-6 at the half.
A strong recovery in this half from Fnatic after it looked like G2 were running away with things. Big round from Crashies as well in round 12, as Jorg was hunting him down from behind. I think this implies that we've got a great game on our hands with how even things have started here on Lotus.
Yeah, competitive between these two juggernaut teams. All the way through, 6-2-6. Could not ask for a better start to the series overall.
Pretty good. Give us 6 though, guys.
Unreal stuff. We're going to send it down to the floor. Vansili is standing by with G2 Hammy.
Thank you so much, Brent. I'm joined back on the floor by G2's own Arabian Stallion, Hammy. Hammy, how has Toronto been treating you so far?
Honestly, Toronto's been amazing. The people here are amazing, and just like, yeah, overall great.
What about the event? You were telling me you were walking around the venue the whole time, checking out the activations and everything. How's the experience right here in Masters Toronto?
The experience is amazing. I mean, like I said, the people here in general, they're just like lovely to meet and all that, but yeah.
That's us, man. That's Canadian.
It's good.
We just love hugs.
Yeah, I do.
Let's get back in the game, though, and talk about G2, because you're basically the honorary sixth man for G2. Talk me through the Tejo from Trent. Why is he bringing it back?
Okay, I mean, I feel like Trent gets too much disrespect. He doesn't need Tejo. It doesn't matter who he's playing. He's the best initiator I've ever seen play the game. Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I just wanted to hear it from your words as well. And also tell me why G2's in the golden era and why they're going to win this series against Fnatic.
Yes, we'll be winning this series. Not only this series, but we'll be winning the entirety of Masters, I think.
Oh, the whole Masters.
We will be winning Masters, yes.
Okay, and so Wolves coming up next. You think they're going to have this easy against Sufat Baby and crew?
Yeah.
Okay, and last but not least, I want you to give encouraging words to the G2 players playing up there and also to your fans around the world.
Okay, honestly, G2 doesn't even need it. They're going to win. But I hope everyone's doing good. I mean, that's I don't know what else to say. But yeah, I love you guys.
You got it all. Hammy, thank you so much for your time. Let's toss it back to the game.
Two teams here that are just neck and neck, and honestly, even just looking at the map pool itself, we have our opener of Lotus. It's an interesting one. Listen, Adeska was kind of talking about it when it came up as well, because it's a great map for Fnatic. It's one of the ones that they have been lights out on all year.
Yeah, it's at the top of both teams' map pools, and I think you really get the clash between both of the callers. Opposite sides of the spectrum, actually, in terms of results. You can see reflected in the Coinbase Econ report. Chronicle having an amazing half. Boaster struggling a little bit. Valorant at the top of the scoreboard, actually, if you're just looking at kills as well. But I think more than productivity, it's going to be the game plans that are going to make the difference here in half number 2. I mean, when I've been looking at these teams, G2, they play for retake a ton. They're on their defense half. They've been winning almost 40% of them. Fnatic are winning post plants 83% of the time. One of those stats has got to give today. Is it going to be Fnatic closing out these rounds cleanly?
Basado Styles leaping into the fray across for that info. Leaf break the Prowler, back himself out, and it is slow and steady for Fnatic.
They are the slowest team on the attack side that we have, but they're extremely diligent with it. They use the time to make sure that they dismantle trap plays. And yeah, it can get tense towards the end. The clock can sometimes be Boaster's worst enemy. But Alpha, yeah, Alpha might be his best friend.
What an opener for Fnatic.
I mean, that should be signed, sealed, and delivered on the pistol round. Fnatic with the potential here, a great opportunity to win both pistols on this map. And that can make all the difference in spots like this where both teams are good. Jorg might be going for a bit of a re-exploration over towards B as well. He's just trying to backfill this space, but it's all on Valen to defend here with one Paranoia. Are they pivoting into B? Actually, maybe Jorg will get his chance.
They might do. They want to try and go for the B here. There's only 25 seconds left for Fnatic. What is the call? Bit of a scramble, but they're going to land over towards A. No one really there to meet them. Valen might take a few risks of his own out towards the blue room, and this is all covered in time. Kayak is there. Cutting down his two players. It's a pistol round in the back pocket here for Fnatic, and like you said, it could make all the difference in a map like this.
Absolutely flawless. I mean, the damage from the first hit, collating through onto Jonah P. And then how clean Kayak looks with these shots coming out from his ghost afterwards.
Nice! That's it.
It's a beautiful round. It's clean, it's sharp.
Whoever it was.
I mean, it's Kayak. I think you should probably give credit to your newest player. It's going to be tough for G2 to recover from this kind of situation. You will sometimes see them force, even on defense, but this is not one of those times. G2 just playing for money in the bank. Another really important thing to pay attention to between these two teams is who has more of the utility once we get into post-plant scenarios. In the previous round, hello.
Yeah, they're going to be gearing up. It's a Paranoia in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Primed by Valen, looking for signs of life at the spam. Surely that's it, but they're actually waiting for a little bit further. There it is. Now the go button's going to be called for, but that Paranoia did not connect. Chronicle. Unbelievable form. And Alpha on clean-up duty.
Hyper confident, pushing through. Just allowing the players on Fnatic to build up more and more towards those ultimates. Players getting streaks, and Jorg trying to get cleaned up.
Nice for the class to give it a damage, surely, but the round nevertheless here to Fnatic. Chronicle is 19 and 10 right now.
He's been amazing. He's just been so calm. And like I said earlier, he's been a rock that the rest of the team can rely on in these difficult positions. He's not making the play to change the round necessarily, but when G2 force the aggression into him, he just collects it and absorbs it perfectly. You can't get past him. So Fnatic with a bonus round, but a bonus round that they've also forced an attacking operator into.
Just punish Leaf. He's been peeking this one often. The defensive setup is differ, though. G2 making changes to it. Quick dink there through Mound. There needs to be some call for help. Shot wide and through. Leaf is on essentially single digits. Barely alive. Region Armor eventually going to be kicking in.
Both teams getting a read on what's going on here. Fnatic realizing they're fighting super heavy over Mound and trying to react into A and realize they got caught by the drone there. Decide to hold on for a moment. But G2 also got the read that there's an attacking op, so they'll have to be hyper aware of areas that Alpha's going to try to peek.
Door opened up here by Chronicle.
Toxins
Bit of fake pressure, trying to pull some of these G2 players. Done so successfully.
Yeah, it's really nice. It pulls all of the attention from the defenders towards the door and frees up this re-exploration towards Mound. This was the area, remember, that G2 were fighting over, so it's likely they would have left.
Toxin screen down.
Second thoughts here for Fnatic, looking like they wanted to end over towards C, but the spike now, it's way over towards A.
Maybe overthinking it just a tad here, overcooking.
30 seconds left.
30 seconds left.
Jorgamo not budging. Leaf even just lying in wait.
There's 4 players defending this area of the map.
Yeah.
Are they pivoting B and trying to connect with these guys through the door?
Maybe. Door's broken. No clearance onto the corner. Alpha has his back. Not on my watch is what he's saying. That attack side operator, but time is still becoming a bit of an issue. And shots are rattled. You can feel it. It's getting hectic. It's getting messy. Trent cleaning up onto Chronicle. Time is against them now. It's fully against this Fnatic squad. And G2, they make the call. Not sure who it was, but to stack the bodies in the final moment there over towards A.
They almost got punished for it as well, though, Brent. That round is on a nice edge. You see Chronicle come through from tree, and he's got players running away from him. I mean, the fact that Leaf also gets caught in this situation, the Guardian barrel just sticking out slightly, but it's this kill, Trent onto Chronicle, that I think really changes the game, because G2 then can commit fully to the retake and the flood. And Josh is begging them to play time at the end there because there was no opportunity for a plant.
Very fast play to be made. That operator picked up into the hands of Leaf now. Punches Kayak.
Yeah, I think it's a great call to go for the defensive op for Leaf because they know that Leaf is going to be on this line. They're trying to punish him with marshals, with attack ops. And if he's got a long-range weapon of his own, he can hold it down.
Just got to be careful here. Spots the body. How do you want to play this one? Backs himself into a corner.
He does have a little bit of support from Jonah P.
Poison's off.
And one of the things that this G2 comp is really good at is being able to passively regain information in the mid-round from the Tejo drone, from the Prowlers, from the Haunt. They have used all of those now, though, and only Jonah P's Haunt will be coming back later on.
Here.
Chronicle just sticking around to try to break that and make it feel like they could be going for a C re-hit. There's the Haunt, though. Chronicle breaks it. But the shot comes from so far back that G2 already have the read anyway.
Valorant's going to be seeing signs of life definitely occurring now.
Cover going out.
A long con here for Fnatic, just trying to earn up a few of those ults. Really working the map in the process, and they found themselves a slight gap in towards B.
Fnatic have been ending with these B splits a ton. I think G2 are fairly ready for this. Jonah and Jorg.
Jonah sat down onto the side here, spots it, catching the contact, a bit of spam as well. Comes through, this is Alpha and Chronicle. Lane claim over towards this side. On to B in the plant now to go down, nothing to push this away.
Crashes managed to upgrade to a Vandal. Can he strike a dagger blow back to his own region?
Huge upgrades. Stun, has to be sidestep Leaf. Just snaps at the crash, he's an off angle by Chronicle, baiting out with the first shot. Now you're gonna see that discipline coming through. G2 never without it, and it has brought it level 8-8.
Both teams playing that round pretty well, honestly. Just at the end of the day, a weapon difference. That's a sick kill, though, from Leaf. You can see that Kayak, he knows exactly how Leaf wants to play it, and Leaf is still just daring him to come and challenge. Fnatic have a lockdown to try to work with here. Difficult to counter. But G2 pretty happy playing the retakes as well. Stacking 3 bodies over towards Mound, expecting Fnatic to go for a punish of Leaf.
And Leaf is holding it. They want it to feel like it's just Leaf with a bit of solo pressure. Way ahead of this one, still they're going to reveal their hands. So rifle shots ring out. Even trying to see if he can punish somebody going for that jump spot, but Haunts out into the open, counter spam. It's Kayak trying to get the punish online, but
he was believing in the Haunt maybe a little bit too much, just stood into that Omen one-way, got caught. Feels like G2 have been winning a lot of these opening duels
Toxins going up.
Drone's going to be expended for the re-clearing, walls on walls.
And because Fnatic keep losing this fight over towards Mount, G2 can stack 2 bodies B, 2 bodies A, and be pretty happy no matter where Boaster calls the team to end.
Tight to the corner, tight to the corner. Jorgamo has the escape policy.
Alpha detected over here by the Horn.
Just trying to spam where he might expect it to be, following the traces. Well, still going to be alive for now, 41 health.
And in a 3v5 like this, you don't really want to invest the ultimates from Alpha Air and Crashies unless they can find a pick beforehand.
30 seconds left.
But look at the time. This is one of the problems with how slow Fnatic play. You get into spots like this where you're down and you're not really in a position where you can even make a play to turn the round. This is just going to be a save that waiting out the clock, and it's not a high energy way to end a round.
No.
It feels, I've got to imagine, a
left.
bit brutal to have to give up in spots like this, especially because it allows G2 to then put pedal to the metal and try to punish. And that is such a punish. Looked like Leaf was just running the operator in to its doom.
To his demise, though. 2 rifles intact for Fnatic, and that was the goal of it. But you're right, it's a low energy way to end the round, to think about what's coming next.
Yeah, there's that moment one-way finding value. George just spots Kayak, who's trying to get value from the Horn. Like, you can see what Kayak's going for,
Gun here.
but it's difficult amount. And Fnatic are going to take a tack timeout here. I think it's desperately needed. They've won both pistols in this map. G2 didn't respond with a force at all, and yet they're still behind 8-9. And they did do a good job of getting back into the map in their defense half. Here on the attack side, though, I think one of the largest problems is they're never actually pushing G2 away from Mount.
Yeah.
And if you don't have Mount control, if Leaf is always getting information over there, why would they ever want more than one person on C? And that makes it way harder for Boaster to call. Might be time to change the tempo around coming out of this tack timeout. Fnatic, they do have some fast rounds in the bank. They're not a team that do it very often. But running something a little quicker might just add that shift up that you need to be able to get back into the game.
Scrap together a buy. It's a bit rough. Boaster's going to be left with just a stinger, but you're right, a tempo increase. Could be what they ordered.
Doesn't look like it though, does it? I mean, looks like they're going to try to play for a little bit of rubble control. I mean, maybe the coach is telling them to take the shift into fighting for A control instead of Mount at the start of the round.
He's trying to take this one. Overwhelming with the bodies in the util. Setting Valen up onto rubble. He is revealed towards the tail end there by their own Horn. So Fnatic get the information.
And I do like this smoke that Boaster goes for over towards rubble, but it's just been cleared immediately by the salvo. And G2 weren't really worried about it.
Exchange of the stray shots.
Leaf has actually been pushed back this time, though.
Yeah.
Not too much contestation, and a nice smoke from Boaster just right on top of Leaf's face. And suddenly, G2 don't have the same level of information over towards C, but they're still playing C soft for retake and stacking bodies on A, expecting this re-clear, and they are so right.
Who's catching the play, though? Strength, jump spotting. Potentially sees it, Valen unaware. Trying to get a move on, trying to get a runaway. Kayak! Just obliterating the opposition. It's up to Jonah P to pick up those pieces. See if he can make a little bit more from it. Also be feinting. Getting a bit of a run on. It's
no
way. Catch the timing. There's no way. There's no way at all! It's shut down by Alpha. Safe pair of hands. Jorgamo.
Spike planted.
In his hands, trying to go for it. Flick of the wrist does not connect. No way to exit other than having his ult, but committing it in this spot in a 2v4. Not wise.
No, he's still
even getting a wrap around.
He's still going to be able to afford an op in the next round anyway, so
Last player standing.
when Joel gets caught. Fnatic getting up to 9 here, but I think really you've got to be looking at how G2 executed in some of those moments. They had the right read. They knew that it was going to be an A re-clear, but they didn't have somebody taking contact well enough for Valen to play off this. Kayak snuck all the way back in off the back of Chronicle's Viper wall. And then I think you could argue the execution here wasn't great either. Jonah finds the timing, utilizing the fact they're on land. It's difficult to hear these kind of footsteps, but he can't land the shot. And Alpha shuts it down. Alpha once more is going to go for the attack side operator here. Taking a peek. Seeing if he can punish a jump spot on A.
Same explosion of util from G2 looking to take control towards A rubble. Both players up.
This smoke is a really nice adaptation. Coming out of the tactical timeout, it really has neutralized Leaf and allowed them to regain mount control. I mean, look what it's done. You got the pull from one of the rotates. You've also got this gate crash in spawn as well to try to support Leaf. And it's just softened up the A side of the defense. Really good macro adjustments from Fnatic's coaches.
All grouped up now from Fnatic though. Trying to push players off away from A rubble and just trying to take it slowly, steadily, but still that's bullets raining down. Jonah P is there. Nightfall preemptive, and that's going to be a tag onto absolutely everyone. It's the information they were looking for. You see him push it out by G2 across the board.
Toxin screen down.
Leaf, he's tucked himself in.
It's a dangerous spot as well for Chronicle. He gets support from Alpha yeah now, but he's the one with the spike.
Nala broken. Leaf will respect it. Off onto the corner. This is 25 seconds left. Where is this ending?
Boaster's trying to fake as if it's ended towards B. I think the spike should be headed to A. And that means Jonah has a chance for redemption after his failed play in Tree in the last round.
Spike's disjointed though. They've already got players in and through. G2 looking to try and flood defend this one all the way. Dimensional drift spots it all out. No guessing game whatsoever. 9 seconds and it's all dropped down. It's all crumbled. Fnatic, Chronicle. It's cheeky with the kills, consolation prizes at the end of the day, but it's not a round win. That's what Fnatic were looking for.
Second time in this half that G2 have won based on the clock. And you won't see any other team in the tournament that loses as often as Fnatic. The EMEA teams do tend to be slower.
Spike down.
But Fnatic, honestly, they take it to a whole different level. And they're getting punished here. Trying to work the map as much as they possibly can, but not taking the right risks at the right time to try to push things forwards. And G2 have knocked the economy down of Fnatic. No, they decide to go for the force buy. They've got everything up here. Fnatic's eco still doing all right. But 3 of the players are on light armor.
Investing into it. Salvage towards the back of rubble. Fnatic are grouped up though. Flash overhead. No signs of life from what G2 can see.
Yeah, passive kind of setup. Not looking to go for the reclear, the refight G2.
Toxins going up.
But why would they need to? I mean, Leaf has still got pretty good information over towards Mound. Jonah P is getting them info on B as well. They're set up quite nicely right now for an A or B finish.
Paranoia is going to be sweeping through, dissecting this B site. Go either way though. Okay, lockdown. Drop down into the corner now. One salvo is going to be weakening it, but not enough damage to really do the job. They clear most of the way here for Fnatic.
This plant is almost destined to go down, and my eyes immediately go to this flank that's coming around the back. Leaf might have an opportunity, but it's going to be so difficult inside Chronicle's pit.
And luck at a draw. G2 to try and play retake into this one. A bit of random spam, perhaps. Fnatic should be set up to bring it level once more. To the post plant. Util is even available. Again, bullets raining down. Not much cover. Fnatic will take it. Paranoia nade, ricocheting, rebounding. Tons of util at their disposal here. They've completely shut G2 out of the picture. Straight kill from Leaf.
They're also going to do crazy economic damage to Fnatic because they're just essentially trapping them in the site. One escape path found though from Crashy's kayak, so at least 3 guns are going to be maintained here. G2 never really committed to that one. Definitely felt like there was more opportunities for G2 to go for spam, to try to get inside the pit and make something of it. But when Jorg got shut down, kind of gave up the ghost. And Fnatic draw things level again at 10-10. It's actually a rough buy here for G2. Guardian for Jorgamo. Valen only with a stinger.
Might be
and a big brawl.
Yeah, big brawl. Signs of it. It's a season of nades. Jorg's TP just not in time to save him there. Kayak, a wonderful opener.
We've seen that previously too. Jorg, he tried to go for the teleport in the moment, but was just a little too slow on it. That's a great start for Fnatic. I think they've really struggled with the opening kills.
Very proactive from G2, looking to try and push all the way out of Rubble. Using a paranoia, even expending it, but this is being held all the way further back. Crossfire setups. I think are good for them, and G2 realized that would be an overextension.
I think all of that pressure, though, that was on the flank, as G2 pressured forwards, it actually pulled the defenders back, and it allowed Leaf to get set up on C properly.
Jonath's still staying around. There's going to be smokes on smokes. Hiding the intent of Fnatic. Has to be respected. Horn's not going to be broken. Drop the spike. He's still going to be sticking around here with 40 seconds left.
Trent has salvos, and he has the ult to be able to work with. Boaster needs to call for them to accelerate at some point here.
Tempo needs to be increased.
He's trying to bait out the salvo or the ult, but this spike is miles away still.
25 seconds left.
Surely this isn't going to be another round lost to the clock.
You're only just making a move over towards it. G2 still have bodies over towards you. Jonath's going to be hearing most of this, and that's the Armageddon. As soon as doors opened up, the slightest of pockets to play inside. And all the way forwards, Jonath has to be that line of defense. Moving now, 8 seconds remaining, but G2 reinforcing the site. Still time left. Alfie is going to try and defend this one. Defend it, he will. Plant is down. Wincon potentially there. And Alpha! All in his hands!
What a ridiculous round from Fnatic. I don't think they should have ever been able to get that one across the line, but it's individuals that power their way through with the clock all against them. Yes, they got the early kill and set themselves up in a decent spot, but they were just barreling towards the site, desperate to try to get something going. And again, the superstar, I think, is Alpha, defending crashes. Leaf a little too slow to be able to deny. And then Alpha, he wins that 1v1 towards the end, even with Leaf holding for it. Josh is not happy about that. G2 have taken attack timeout instantly afterwards. 3 situations where the clock has been bad for Boaster, and 1 recovered. Chronicle and Alpha, the players that have been by Boaster's side through thick and thin, winning multiple tournaments with him. 26-13 for Chronicle, 23-14 for Alpha, Everybody else on Fnatic, negative. I mean, Chron and Alpha are trying to deadlift Fnatic through this game.
The backbone. This entire map has been on a knife's edge all the way through. Fnatic go to ones finding it. Potentially the straw that breaks the camel's back if you are G2.
Yeah, I think that could be the round that you look back on that really made the difference. Josh is expending his timeout, maybe expecting not to get a chance for another one, frankly, because G2, it was a bold pick taking Fnatic to Lotus, but they may have been punished. Losing both pistols and not being able to stop them on the clock there. Valen steps up with a stinger to try to see if they can win a miracle round and draw things level again.
Gonna make this out, Leaf. Indeed, catches the Prowler. Leaves Valen inserted. Tiptoeing around the map though from Fnatic. They're gonna be looking to see if they can re-clear out towards C-Mount. Satchel across. With the rifles here, ooh, Valen barely able there to escape and exit. Drone used for a bit more information. G2 just trying to clear up most of the map. Fnatic, slow game of theirs. Definitely applies the pressure evenly here to G2.
And 2 players posted up towards Rubble. I'm not sure whether Alpha's calling for them to go back towards B. No, it looks like the spike's going to make its way towards this setup from Jorg and from Jonah. There's a seize.
All broken. Jorgama respects it. Okay, Gate Crash is probably running out.
Placing swamp grenade.
I mean, at this point, G2 are just trying to play the clock again. 30 seconds. You have C's, you have flashes.
Living to delay.
30 seconds left.
It's up to Fnatic to try and get a move on here. There's a round you cannot afford to lose. Not against the weaker weaponry. G2. Sidestep, Nightfall, going to be avoided, at least for now. Util flying forward, sees, not quite a connection. Paranoia sweeps forwards, Boaster's there, ready to take the fight and lay claim to most of this site. He needs some help when he's at it. Kayak drifting into it, trying to take the fight straight to them. It's a bloodbath up towards heaven. One away from the ult. HyperX is going to be happy with that. And the last one spotted out, rooted out.
Toxins going up.
People just look to do some damage here, and HyperX has been set up perfectly. Showstopper for round 23.
That shows you that the composure is still there for Fnatic. Not getting rattled towards the end, still trying to optimize even the smallest bits. And that could be an ultimate that's a game changer and stops G2 from being able to pull off a comeback. Both of these teams have got good mentals. But G2 are going to need 2 really clean rounds here, even against the ult coming out from Kayak. Jorg and Trent have been really good at denying value from Kayak's ultimate when the sides were swapped. But I think a showstopper's exactly the right kind of tool to complement Boaster's slower calling style, because it will allow you just to open up the sights towards the end of the rounds.
Toxins
Now
going
to
up.
speed up entirely. G2, they don't want to be budged.
Toxin screen down.
Draining themselves here. Leaf and Valin out towards C Mound. Stray shots forwards, but now here's the pressure. Prowler broken. Stray shots, you know that Valin's sticking around. Leaf. Valin eventually going to concede that space and give it up. On either side, there's a deep drone and a deep push. G2 getting active over towards A.
Alpha, yeah, has a little bit of an opening on B. But this fight over towards A could define the round. Alpha's in on B.
Yep, Alpha is completely cracked over the B side, and now putting a squeeze, a pincer play over towards A. All that aggression of G2 was just dissipated. They're the ones left scrambling. Showstopper down. Just tagging into the clone. Jorgma will get it, but Crashies is there. Cleans it up. 3 players left to stand here. Boaster with the plan is going to be sticking this safety in the back of his mind, because Crashies is watching it all. Leaf slipped his way in. Found that timing and that gap. This is it, surely. Fnatic on the cusp, on the brink of taking map 1. G2's map pick, it's all on to Leaf. 6 bullets left, timing not there. It's a 13-10 to finish here for our opener between these 2 juggernauts.